This is 26-year-old Tony T.J. Wiggins.
He's a thug. He's a criminal. He's pure evil in the flesh.
According to Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd, T.J. Wiggins was the trigger man in a bloody massacre, leaving 3 fishermen dead last week near the town of Frostproof, Florida. The victims, 23-year-old Damian Tillman, 27-year-old Brandon Rollins, and 30-year-old Kevin Springfield were best friends, getting together, as they often did, to go fishing.
What's more wholesome than 3 friends, 3 close friends, fishing together in Frostproof on a Friday night?
The night of the murders, Damian Tillman stopped by a Dollar General store before meeting his friends. Surveillance video shows him in line. Also in the store, T.J. Wiggins, his brother, 21-year-old Robert Wiggins, and T.J.'s girlfriend, 27-year-old Mary Whitmore. Tillman, according to investigators, told the clerk he was going fishing and that Kevin Springfield would also be there, which allegedly got the attention of T.J. Wiggins.
And T.J. says, "What? Kevin's going to be there?" So when they leave the store, T.J. tells Robert, who's driving, go to the lake. Now, they had no plans to go to the lake until T.J. told Robert, go to the lake. And they did.
All 3 friends had just arrived at the lake, sitting in 2 pickup trucks, one white, one red, when, according to Sheriff Judd, T.J. Wiggins pulls up with his brother and girlfriend.
He, being T.J., runs around between the red truck and the white truck. He points the gun at Kevin, and T.J. says, "Where's my truck?" Kevin goes, "I don't know what you're talking about." "Yeah, you do. Where's my truck? You sold the engine out of my truck." Kevin said, "I don't know what you're talking about." At that moment in time, according to the information we've received, TJ hits Kevin. Damian starts to open the door of his vehicle and is screaming at TJ, "Put the gun away, put the gun away, put the gun away." TJ's out of control, screaming, "Where's my truck?" And he starts shooting.
At 10:06 p.m., just 10 minutes after Damian left the Dollar General, Brandon Rollins called his father for help. This is what Brandon's dad told WFLA.
When I got there, I was looking for my son. It was a mess. I found my son. I was holding him. He was telling me what happened, but I was too shocked.
All 3 men died at the scene. The Wiggins brothers and Mary Whitmore left the scene and allegedly went to get food.
They immediately go to McDonald's in Lake Wells and order 10 double cheeseburgers and 2 McChickens. While they're standing in line, they go through the drive-thru. It's very quiet. TJ simply says, "We weren't there."
Robert Wiggins is cooperating with investigators. A search warrant turned up a 9mm shell casing found at the Wiggins home that matches one at the scene. Before this, TJ Wiggins, according to the sheriff, had 230 felony charges on his criminal record, dating back to when he was just 12 years old.
It's gut-wrenching. This is evil in the flesh. This is a guy who can hurt you just because it's the right thing for him to do at that moment in time with his 3 brain cells. He needs to receive a fair trial, the appropriate appeals, and then be executed.
You know, this almost seems like one of those things that is somewhat predictable, as barbaric as it was. You're talking about someone, as Sheriff Grady Judd pointed out, 230 felony charges, and he's still a young guy. Let's bring in our special guest joining us tonight, Andrew Warren, the state attorney down in Hillsborough County, Florida. Andrew, great to see you. Explain to the folks at home who are watching right now how someone, in such a short amount of time, and he's not 70 years old. Someone can have 230 felony charges in his career and be free.
Well, Vinnie, it's really hard to explain. I mean, somebody with that many convictions shouldn't be free. 230 arrests. That's not the total number of times he was convicted of a crime, but he had a long criminal history. And what's disturbing is that he had been in front of a judge earlier in 2020, and apparently the court didn't realize the fact that he had a criminal history, and he was sentenced based on the fact that they presumed him to have no criminal history. It's really hard to explain how those things happen. The reality is that you have so many cases that come through the state system. Mistakes do get made sometimes. And here's one of them where a man who, as the sheriff described, is pure evil, who has this long rap sheet, who is prone to violence, ends up getting released, getting out, and then going and committing not just one, but 3 horrific murders.
And it's so random. I mean, at the store, has a little conversation, here's a name, and then boom, it turned like that. So when this goes to trial, how important do you think it is for the jury to try to understand why this happened versus the forensics and tying all of that together?
Anytime you're presenting a case like this, you're going to want to be able to explain to the jury, why does somebody do something? And just, he's a bad person is not a sufficient explanation. And of course, his criminal record is very unlikely to come in at trial. So you want to be able to present some evidence of motive. And here you have TJ's younger brother, Robert, who is cooperating and has been giving law enforcement a lot of the information that we know about what happened there. And he provides essentially that motive that, as you heard in the clips that were played, it's an allegation by TJ that Kevin, who is a mechanic, may have sold the engine out of his truck. But the bottom line is, in addition to all that physical evidence you now have this motive that can be presented to the jury to explain why this man did something so violent, so horrific, so hard to imagine that led to the 3 deaths of these 3 young guys out fishing together.
Just going fishing. Unbelievable. Andrew Warren, always great to have you on the program. Appreciate it. Thanks so much.